Game is infinitely spawned, so like it just goes on forever. Um, and there's small islands everywhere, and there can be things on the island. I feel like they need to make the islands a little bigger. Like the game needs a little more, because every island seems kind of samey. Um, some of them I think need like fresh water and bigger and things like that, but it really gets down to like the shipwrecks and the trying to get the good loot from the shipwrecks. Like you can get harpoon guns and stuff like that to put back together, and you can get engine parts, which I don't know if you can actually build like a motorboat. I mean, it seems like you can, but I've not read anybody who's found all the parts yet. And so the game's only been out for like 5 days, I think, now. So there could be all kinds of crazy stuff that we still don't know about. I've not seen one shipwreck. Hey now. Is that Timmy? I guess by the name and by you liking the Facebook thing last night, so good to hear from you. Doing all right. I'm doing all right. Playing little games, trying to, build the channel up. How are you? Alright, well that took forever to get to the island. Yeah, I get that. I get it. I'd like to get a better CPU too for this, but I know a lot of people are just streaming with PS4s and Xbox Ones. Let's go over to Chris's house and steal that from him. There's a whole lot of people. Madden is decently big still. Soccer, if you're into it, I know does well on Twitch. Yeah, I think the Xbox One can too, but I know for sure the PS4 can. There's a lot of people who play GTA, and like I said, most of the sports games they play them on the system. So, but it takes a while. I mean, to build like a crowd. I mean, this is my third day of streaming, so you see how many people are in. But I mean, it's one of those things you got to kind of slog through for a while until you slowly gain an audience. From what I've seen. I cannot believe I cannot find a ship. Oh, never mind. Flashlight. Need to make a bed. Yeah, I did that when I first started to think about streaming. I watched for almost 7 months. Like, I just watched a lot of people, and I saw a couple of guys. I followed a couple of guys who were just starting out. You know, they were like a month into it, and it was the same thing. Yeah, like it took him. It took him almost. One guy that I watched though, he's pulling like 500 guys now, and I'm not a huge fan of him really. I mean, he's a nice enough guy it seems like, but his personality is a little abrasive, and but he's pulling like 500 people now, and like doing really well. What I've learned is from watching all those guys is just consistency. Like, you just gotta be like ridiculously consistent with it. Yeah, I've watched some guys who, it's one guy who I really like, called the Romantics, I think it's what it's called, and he's really good. Like, he is fantastic at streaming. Like, great personality, like very interactive with his audience, and he was up to like 1,000 or 1,200 people at one point, or close to it, and then he had like a kid, and there was like sickness and stuff like that. You know, things that you couldn't help. But then his numbers have pulled down to like less than 100 most of the time now, and he's really good. Like, really like him. But because, you know, other things got in the way, which happened, but he lost a lot of viewers. Let's see. Yeah, it's Stranded Deep. It's a castaway simulator basically. It's really early. Like, it's a week into it being in early access on Steam. and there's bugs. There's a lot of bugs still, and there's not a lot of like there's gameplay. There's, the gameplay is pretty neat when you can go shipwreck dive when you can find them, of course. And I thought it was a turtle, but it's a hole. But that's about it. Like, that's the best part. It's not really a great long-term, like, you can play this game. I need to get something to drink and eat before I go off searching. It's not a good 5-hour game to play, I guess you could say. Alright. Roll to the ocean. One more, and then we'll go off again. Yeah, I'm a real big fan of like really good survival games. Like, I really wanted to play The Forest, but The Forest is more, I don't know if you've seen The Forest, but it's also an early access game, and it's really quite similar to the build of this. But it's a horror game, and I'm not huge into horror games. Like, I like the aspect of surviving. I don't need like an extra. I want that to be the crux of the game, like living. So what have you been playing lately? Anything of note? Cannot believe I cannot find a boat anywhere. Let's circle around this island. See if we can't find something. Although I did get a flashlight, I think. Yeah, I got a flashlight. Oh yeah, you loved, I remember when you were little playing D2, like you were better at that game than I was, and I was much older than you. I can't get into top-down action, games like that. It's really hard. Like, I played D3 and it's fun, I mean, to an extent, but it's not fun in the sense of like, I keep wanting to go back to it. I almost hesitantly play it when some of the buddies want to play it. But I played WoW for the last 10 years. I mean, since it came out.